Welcome to Bears in Exile. Today is, it doesn't matter what day it is. We're going to do a quick overview of the uptick and downtick rule to examine the mechanics of the way it works, and that's it. I am looking at the ES, the futures for the S&P 500 at the moment, and we have a downtick. And what is a downtick? A downtick is one of these little doohickeys when you are in a trendy move and you get a downtick, which is just the fastest short-term moving average dipping down. And it doesn't matter if these other ones do or not. All that matters is the very first one. So what do we do with this? Well, we have a downtick. Today is the day of detection. So to get our target, we have to go back to where it began, which is the previous candle. And on that candle, we go down to the second to the last short-term moving average in the bar. And we make a note of its value, which is just shy of 1550. So from the day of detection, there is 4 market days for this to complete, which is fulfill that target. And it's not far away from where it is at the moment, but 4 days from this moment, which would be Friday, for this to complete. And we'll see if it pans out or not. But what else is there about a downtick that is useful or good or whatever? Well, you have downtick failures. The most common one is this variety right here, which is when you have a downtick and it resolves itself intraday. At that point there's no predictive value because it's already complete. There's nothing else to do with it. But it does work. It has a very high success rate, although in the month of January there was a huge amount of failed downticks across the board. I looked at a few dozen charts, and so there's some kind of a weird thing that happened in January. I'm going to skip over it and just go back in time to some other point in time. I'll go, well, I want to show upticks and downticks. So I guess what I'll do is I will go, I don't have too much time, too many candles loaded on this thing, so I'm just going to go back and then go forward. So I'll just go back to April, and at that time we had the trend was going down, we had the expansion of the short-term moving averages, and then we started to get upticks, the opposite of a downtick. So we have an uptick here, gives us a target right about a little bit higher. So actually this one did not fulfill itself, but let's keep going because it's not perfect, it's not 100%, but it's pretty darn good. Had an uptick here, it was resolved intraday. When you have compressed short-term moving averages, upticks and downticks don't really mean that much. You need complete separation of the short-term moving averages. So we have compression, ignore that. We get everything spread out, good. And there's one other thing about this that is not wonderful. When you have the short-term moving averages moving in a waterfall, when you finally get an uptick, a lot of times it will fail simply because the second to the highest is just so far away that it's difficult for a natural snapback move to overcome the target. We can see that here. That was just way too much. But oftentimes what you do get in those kind of situations is a revised uptick or downtick, which is you get another one a day or two later, and then it is a more reasonable target, and then it is fulfilled. In this case it was right here, and we have 1, 2, 3, and it was resolved on the 3rd day. I will continue on, and here we have an uptick. And the uptick gives us a pretty good target up here, and it actually is resolved the very next day after detection. So first day hit. We go along, we have compression, so upticks, downticks, no good. We finally get everything to expand up here, we get a downtick, and it is resolved 2 days after. There's the day of detection, day 1, day 2, resolved. We get separation once again, downtick, and it is a modest target. It is resolved on the very next day following detection. We have another bounce, and we get a downtick. That target is resolved one day after detection, right here. It's detected on this day, right here. We get expansion once again, and here's something that I don't really care for. This is one of the weaknesses. Sometimes you'll get a minor downtick or uptick. It is very, very minor, and those I don't consider very reliable. Sometimes they do work out, but definitely a better angle, like you see on these, is far more reliable. In this case, this one fails. It does not achieve its target. We keep going. We get a decent downtick on this day, and it is resolved the very following day. We get compression, no downticks to be used. Continue on our merry way. We do not get a downtick here. And we get a downtick right here. Nice. Gives us a target. The target is met 2 days into the signal. Compression, no good. Expansion, a downtick, is resolved the very following day with a whole lot of extra. We don't get full expansion here. We do get a downtick. It's resolved intraday. That would have been worthless. We get our uptick over here, and unfortunately it is resolved intraday, worthless. We get full expansion of the short-term moving averages. We start looking for an uptick. The uptick comes on this day. It has a very high target, but nonetheless it is hit the very next day. And these do not change looking in hindsight. This is exactly how you would see it at the time. So that is very nice. We have a jumble. This is compression. It's no good. This is a jumble, and it does get a downtick, and it does get resolved, but this is, I would consider this unreliable, even though it did pan out. Get a downtick on this day, and it is resolved almost intraday, but finished off the following day. Downtick resolved intraday. We have nothing to use here. And we're getting into January, which was the really weird month. And in the case of the ES, there was no downticks in January, but when you get to February, there was a downtick, and it was a pretty nice one, and it did not resolve. It resolved much later, but yeah, this would have been not good. There was even a revision downtick here, and it came close, but it just missed it by a little bit. Downtick resolved intraday. Downtick resolved intraday. Downtick resolved intraday. Downtick resolved intraday. And now we have another downtick which is not resolved. So there it is. As always, all investing decisions are your own. This chart and video are for entertainment, educational, and consumption of time purposes only. Thank you.